What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Well, as you saw by the title, today we are going to be taking a look at 5 different cryptos that I think have a ton of potential, not only just over the next coming weeks, but possibly even further than that. These are going to be some cryptos that we've talked about here on the channel before, and these are going to be some ones that we've never talked about before, some that I have invested into, and some that I've not invested into yet. And I am going to be breaking this down in specific order. Now, this specific order is going to go from the most risky cryptos to the least risky cryptos, with your number one crypto being one that I've actually added to my bag just about a week ago, roughly. And so with that said, of course, you guys know this is one of my favorite videos to make throughout the week. So let's not waste any more time at all. And let's get into the very first crypto, which, as I mentioned before, is going to be the smallest and most risky crypto on the lineup. Now, the one we're going to be talking about today is Meme Index. Now, if you've been on the channel for a while, you know I am a very, very big fan of these pre-sales that do take the multi-layered pre-sale approach. And what that approach is quite simple. They have a certain amount of tokens that they sell at a certain price as a pre-sale. And then after a certain amount of days, the price goes up and the price goes up and the price goes up as the days do go on. So the people who obviously are able to find it the soonest can benefit off it whenever the actual launch comes because they got their tokens at a better price. Now, although this is a pre-sale and a meme coin slash pre-sale as well, which is very risky, these things do perform pretty well. You look at something like Pepe Unchained, we were able to lock in a couple hundreds of percentages in gains from things like that. And I think one like this is going to have some potential as well. Now, the approach that they're taking is pretty interesting and, outside of the actual pre-sale itself. Because again, the pre-sale, very simple. Multi-layered approach. They've already raised over $2.5 million. Very simple stuff here that you see a lot of the times with the ones that are very similar to this one. But the actual value of the token itself that they are going to be launching is pretty interesting, to say the least. Something that I've not really seen pulled off here in the crypto market, especially in the meme world. Now, as I'm sure you noticed, their name is Meme Index. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be giving their holders the opportunity to invest into these meme coin based indices. So what that means is, for example, they're going to be creating a couple different buckets. Let's just say a couple different buckets. There's going to be the Meme Titan Index, the Meme Moonshot Index, the Meme Mid Cap Index, and the Meme Frenzy Index. And each one of these indices are going to be filled with a bunch of different meme coins of different various types of risk and possible reward. So for example, if we look at the Meme Moonshot Index, the Moonshot Index is one that is full of meme coins that are just about to challenge for the top 10. Many of these will already have been listed on major tier 1 centralized exchanges or are rumored to be listed soon. These have large followings, but they likely haven't yet cracked the 1 billion market cap yet. So what this means, as you can see, is that they're creating these different indices that are packed with a certain type of meme coin. The other ones that they have are the Meme Titan Index, in which it is filled with top to bottom with the same meme coins we've come to know and love and that are well established in the top 10. Most of these meme coins have a market cap of over 1 billion. However, the Titan Index, like all other baskets, is constantly shifting with the tides of the meme coin market. Therefore, community vote will dictate which meme coins are added or removed from the Titan Index, keeping the basket active and fluid. There's a Meme Cat Index, the Meme Mid Cap Index, which is going to be full of mid cap meme coins, and then the Meme Frenzy Index. This one is for the degens, those of you who like to live life on the wild side and don't mind the risky plays. They're going to put all the risky plays in the Meme Frenzy Index. And so again, what they're doing is they're giving their holders the ability to invest into these different indices that are going to basically act as an ETF of a bunch of different meme coins, which I thought very cool, super on board with that, and I'd happily do that as well. Now, the cool part about it is that they're actually going to be allowing the holders of the token to make some revenue in other ways, such as staking, but also there's going to be governance. So what you're going to be able to do as a holder is you can go in and you can vote on which cryptos get in the indices and maybe add new indices at some point, all through their governance, which I think is very cool. So it's kind of like a decentralized financial tool for meme coin investors, which isn't really something that I've seen before. So because of that, again, I thought it was very cool. I heard about them through the grapevine. As I mentioned before, I am someone who owns an influencer relations agency, so I see all behind the scenes of what a lot of these projects are doing. They're making huge moves in terms of marketing. And so because of that, it was very obvious for me. I thought this was a good play. You double check the tokenomics, they all look pretty normal. 15% pre-sale, 25% staking, 20% marketing, 20% treasury and governance, and then 20% towards community and incentives. And the roadmap looks just as good as well. What you can see here, they have, of course, the pre-sale. Then they're going to start, of course, the token launch itself. From there, there's going to be governance to start the creation of the index, in which the index is going to go live. And then, of course, they're going to use the platform to start their expansion phase. So everything looks very good. I actually do like this a lot. I think it's a very cool concept, and I personally am going to be investing into the pre-sale tomorrow. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of investing into things prior to making these videos, especially like right before. I think that's a little sketchy. So I am going to be investing into this pre-sale tomorrow. I am a little late, I suppose, but I do think that there is still some opportunity here. And I would like to get in on some of these indices and see how it goes. So overall, very good. I think obviously it is a pre-sale, so it is risky, but overall, I think there's a lot of potential there. So I'll leave the link down below if you want to check out their information. Now, moving a little bit forward into our number 4 pick of the day, we are going to be looking at another pre-sale, one called Infineon. Now, you probably do recognize this. This is one that I made 2 videos on, full videos, back in the past a couple months ago, so feel free to go check them out. But they have had some very big news recently, making me want to bring them back to the channel as one of my picks as they do continue to progress. Now, Infineon, if you don't know, and feel free to go watch these 2 videos, maybe I'll link them down below for you to go check out. But what they do is they are a layer 2 built on Ethereum, utilizing Ethereum as its native gas currency, similar to Base and Arbitrum. Now, what sets them apart from everything else, though, is the fact that they have a dynamic allocation of gas fees to a smart contract in which they then set aside for multiple different purposes. So what this means is that they actually go in and on every single transaction that there is on their layer 2 blockchain, a certain percentage or a certain piece of that gas is then set aside to do things like injected back in to, say, repurchasing the underlying asset and the pair to inject value and intrinsically grow the value of that underlying asset and many more. The whole point of this basically is to ensure that as their layer 2 continues to grow in terms of volume, the underlying assets of the actual blockchain itself are also growing. This is the only way to truly ensure that there is sustainable growth within an ecosystem, which is different than some of the other ones, right? Because, for example, what you have seen some people or some projects do is they'll take the actual token that launched, right? They'll take a percentage of the fees that are charged whenever you trade the token, and then take some of that fee and then maybe like buy back and burn the token. And although intrinsically this does grow the value of the tokens because there are less in supply, it doesn't ensure that the actual underlying ecosystem itself is growing. Whereas what they're doing is by taking a dynamic portion of the gas fees and re-injecting it and investing it back in to purchase that underlying asset or to inject liquidity into that underlying asset, it's not only going to make the ecosystem do better, but all of the token pairs on the ecosystem should also do better even during red days, which is very different and very good. And what we actually saw was that they got their mainnet launch just yesterday. If we head over to their Twitter, what you can see here on January 7th is that their mainnet went live. So when I made that video 2 months ago, they had just entered in a testnet. And 2 months later, they are now entering into mainnet, going live and getting this bad boy up. And also since then, we saw their Infinity Swap getting deployed as well, just going to show how much progress they're making. I mean, they have the mainnet up, they have their swap up, they have the vast majority of all of the other base ecosystemic portions that they're going to release out as well. And the craziest part is they're releasing all of this while still in their pre-sale phase. They've raised nearly $1 million and they're still in their pre-sale phase. So just imagine the fact that a layer 2 blockchain with all of these new dynamic ways of working is going to be launching with all of this already live. You don't really get opportunities like that. And so obviously it's not a guarantee. It is a pre-sale and pre-sales are risky. I thought the fact that they were going into their mainnet, just showing how much, kind of more credibility they're building up, I thought this was an easy pick for the number 4 pick of the day. So I'll leave their link down below again if you want to go check them out. Now, going into the next one, we are actually going to be looking at the AI space, which I can't make one of these videos these days without a 1 or 2 AI cryptos, because you guys know this is probably the most on fire narrative that there is, and it'll probably still be one of the biggest narratives in 2025. It has pulled back a little bit since December, but I do think this is just a correction. I do think the AI space is going to catch traction again. And so because of that, I'm going to be adding another one to my bag today. You guys know I've invested into things like Tars AI. I've invested into things like Pinlink. I've invested in AI 16s and virtuals. And this one is going to be a little bit different than those in the sense that its use case is different. And it's also only right around $8 million in market cap. This is more of a risky play in the AI space just because its market cap is low. But obviously, if the AI market does catch on and we do start to see maybe, some things like virtuals and stuff leading the charge again, well, I think these $8 to $10 million cryptos are going to end up 50 million to 100 million, putting them in a good spot. So I feel like since we're at the midpoint of the video, although this one is still a little bit risky, it's not pre-sale risky. And so I thought it made sense. So we're going to be talking today about number 3 pick, Morph AI. Now, As I mentioned before, Morph AI is currently at $8.95 million in market cap. Having launched back on CoinMarketCap back in the beginning of December, you can see it's actually held up very well. So even though the market has been getting absolutely beat up, and even though things have been a little bit ugly for the AI space specifically, you can see here that Morph AI has held up very, very well. Now, if you don't know what Morph AI is going to be tapping into the AI space of influencers and celebrities. So as somebody who is not only just a YouTuber, but as I mentioned before, someone who owns an influence relations agency, I'm very in tune with what is going on in the world of creators, right? Whether it's creators schools, creator sponsors, anything. Like I see basically 90% of what's happening from a YouTuber, TikToker, Twitterer perspective, right? And what I've come to recognize over the last year is the flourishing. I mean, the absolute explosion of AI like celebrities and AI influencers. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but sorry, I don't know why I switched that one. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but there was that one thing that popped up called Aitana Lopez. It was this influencer all over Instagram and Twitter that everybody was in love with. They thought she was so beautiful and all these things. And the thing is, it was an AI influencer. This wasn't a real person. These pictures were AI pictures, but people didn't really seem to matter or didn't seem to care. This thing got up to 330,000 followers, was getting sponsorships, all types of stuff. And mind you, this isn't a real person. Yeah, there are real people making the pictures and stuff, but it wasn't a real person. And since then, what I've started to notice throughout some marketing campaigns, even recently, I've started to notice some companies starting to actually take AI videos of influencers, like fake AI influencers, and using that to run in their marketing campaigns and stuff like that for their new products or like their phones or services, like whatever it may be, right? And people may not like it, and it might not be like top quality quite yet, but this is the future. People are going to create their own influencers and their own people to do like the promotions for their products, especially on like drop shipping and stuff like that. That is going to be a part of the future, whether you like it or not. And Morph AI plays a huge part in that. They play a huge role in that. So what they do is they're tapping into that, and they give people the opportunity to be able to build AI influencers and also do things like morphing. Morphing is simply whenever you say like you take my face and then you put like somebody else's face on my face. So like I could go look if I go down here,
shillings and guineas were.
look. So you see how
1951, we had. Have you ever read an old book and wondered what farthings, shillings, and guineas were?
they went in and they sorry throat's super dry today. But do you see how they went in and they took like that guy's face and they put like Elon Musk's face on it? This is something that not only just them can do, you can kind of always do it. And so some YouTubers who are out there's a bunch of YouTubers, I'm sure you know them, want to be anonymous, right? They don't want their face out there completely. What they do, and what I'm starting to notice them doing using Morph AI, is they're turning on their cameras, they're putting on the morph so you can't see exactly who they are, but they can kind of be their own personality. Now, they're not morphing Elon Musk, they're just morphing some other random person to make themselves look different so they can remain anonymous on YouTube and Twitter. Maybe they have kids, maybe they're someone important. You get the point. Things like this are the future. And so I know obviously there's a whole bunch of other use cases in terms of the general public, but my kind of like what I like about Morph AI so much is the fact that I can see this relating to what I do on a daily basis, meaning that or making it one of the ones that I wanted to invest into. Now, the coolest part about it is that they do a whole bunch of this stuff, right? So they obviously have the creator AI, the voice AI, swap AI, sync AI, and manager AI, all of which you can read about down below. And these give you a whole bunch of different accesses to change yourself or change your features, create your own AI celebrities. I mean, you can do just about anything. And no, sometimes it is noticeable, right? Like, so it's not 100% perfect, but as time is going on, AI is learning exponentially, and these will eventually become so perfect that you can't even tell, which is why we are seeing these different industries booming and stuff like that. And as I mentioned before, Morph AI gives you access to do all of that. Now, when it comes to the token itself, one cool thing about the token is, of course, it is launching on Ethereum. It has all of the basic fundamentals that you would be looking for, but they've actually created a revenue share model in which 50% of the revenue generated from their AI products will then be distributed out to the actual token holders themselves, which is very cool. So not only can you kind of be someone who holds, invests, and use Morph AI's tools, but you can also receive, benefit or value or just get paid, right, from their actual value and tools, which I think is super cool. So because of that, considering the fact that it's only right now, currently, as I mentioned before, at a $9 million market cap. They do have working products, as I mentioned before. Like you can see here, they have the AI celebrity cameos. They have the ability to build your brand with AI influencers, AI influencer as a service. You can go back up to those videos I showed you, and you
1971
can
cassette. Have
see
you ever read
all of those things that work. And it is a little bit loud there, so I'm not going to keep playing it. But and I also don't want to copyright it. But you can go watch it. They
an
have
old book, a wonderful
operational services. They have operational products, and being able to accomplish that at sub $10 million market cap, I think it's an easy lock for me. And so because of that, I did again go ahead and add this in, and this is currently my number 3 pick for the video. Now, moving a little bit forward, we are going to stick around in the AI space, and we're going to take a look at one that has been on the channel. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm kind of like going new crypto, new crypto, old crypto, new crypto, old crypto, new crypto. This is one I've talked about quite a bit of times on the channel, but they have had a lot of updates and a lot of news come out recently. So I figured I'd talk to you all about them. As I mentioned before, this is another AI crypto because I got to give you guys one or two, or you get super mad at me because AI and obviously AI agents are huge right now. And again, it is one that I have a lot of potential in. I did invest in them a couple months ago. That is up a pretty good amount since then. And I want to give you a little bit of an update because my number 4, or technically number 2 pick of the day is the good old Tars AI. So Tars AI is one, again, that I told you all about back in July. I told you about them right around the 9-cent mark. They are currently at the 31-cent mark, having visited all the way back up at 46 cents. Now, the reason why they're obviously so good, and the reason why I invested into them in the first place, was because they are the only AI protocol that is backed by the Solana Foundation. So the Solana Foundation is super big, and they believe a ton in like their ecosystem and things like that, and they really believe in investing back into their ecosystem. And this currently, Tars AI, is the only AI project that they've gone in and directly invested into, especially at the stage in which they were at, which was very small at the time. So whenever that happened, as a Solana bull, fanboy, whatever you want to call me, I was like, oh, well, that's an obvious pick. Solana is very good, AI very good. Combine the two, obvious pick. So with that in mind, of course, we did go in and we bought a little bit of Tars AI back in July before seeing, a 300 to 400% pump towards the upside as it hit around 47 cents. Now, since then, as of course the AI space did kind of slow down a little bit, we have started to notice that, of course, Tars AI pulled back a good bit, right? We're talking 20, 30% correction, natural healthy pullback, as you would expect. But over the last week, things are starting to heat up, meaning that, I think it's entering into a good time where, okay, maybe we're looking at a good buying opportunity here for Tars. First and foremost, obviously, the price itself pulled back a good bit, right? In these periods, you don't want to be buying right here. You want to be buying here. You want to be buying here. You want to buy in these pullbacks, especially on utility tokens. You don't want to be buying the hype. So the fact that it has pulled back a good bit, that's one reason why I think it's a pretty solid pick. The second thing that I want to talk about is the fact that they have gone and done a full-blown new look, remodel, rebranding, looking substantially better. New logo, new everything. I mean, even their Twitter banner is different. Look at this. Like, even their Twitter banner is different, and they're kind of jumping in and really trying to capitalize on that branding. And in addition to that, they're going to be releasing a bunch of stuff over the next coming months. They've gone out and said that they're going to release one major product per month. They're going to go ahead with the establishment of the Solana AI-focused research firm as part of their R&D division. They have more listings and exposure to untapped markets, which are coming very soon. They're going to be hiring more people to grow out their development teams. They're going to be doing global events and more. And you can check all that out, of course, at their website down there. But that's just a good sign to show that, hey, they're not settled, right? They're saying we're not settled down. This isn't the end of us. This is just us getting started. This was a taste of what we're capable of. And they're still making all of these changes and additions like you would hope they would. Now, in addition to that, what you have to consider is the fact that, if we go out to CoinMarketCap, you can see Solana itself is going absolutely nuts as a result of Trump's coin and all that stuff. And so, of course, as Solana does better, it makes the opportunity for something like Tars to do better even higher. And so, because of all of these things, I thought it was a pretty solid pick. It is one that I wanted to revisit for you, and I will revisit every couple weeks or every couple months, because as they continue to grow and develop and thrive, they're showing more and more signs that this could be one of those AI tokens that does hit $1 billion in market cap. So even though it is at 200 million, and we bought it for the first time around 50 million, there could still be some possible gains here. And it is one that I personally have been adding a little bit more to my bags to recently, actually, believe it or not. And so because of that, the number 2 pick of the day is Tars AI. Now, going into the next one, of course, we were counting down. Going into the next one and the last one, this is one that I actually added to my bag about a week ago. It is one that I think it's just a good lock. I think it's a good lock. I think it's a good pick. I think it's one that should do well over time, and that is Ondo. Now, I'm sure you guys have probably heard about Ondo by now, especially if you've been kind of in the little interwebs of the crypto world. But Ondo is kind of more focused towards the RWA side of things. They're currently sat at about $4.72 billion, the number 33 spot in terms of market cap. So not too high, right? You guys got a little annoyed because I said Bitcoin in one of these videos once. So I wanted to give you something that has a little bit more room of potential run to the upside. And yeah, I think this is one that could still 5x, 10x from here. It's currently, again, as I mentioned before, sat at $4.7 billion. It is very, very deeply considered one of the best RWA cryptos out there. They have backings by things like BlackRock and much more, all of which we'll talk about in a second here, but it was a pretty solid pick. Now, I actually did go into our school not too long ago. I went into the school on January 17th, which was just 2 days ago, and I actually told them that I was going to be doing a little bit of buying on Ondo. I said that I'm a firm believer in RWA. There was a bunch of good technicals saying that it was in a good spot, and so although there was an unlock coming, a token unlock, which is spooking people, I didn't really care. I picked up a little Ondo around $1.26, and currently it is at now $1.50. Now, funnily enough, right after I bought it, which was back here, it went all the way up to like $1.50 and it went under my purchase price. So I actually went back in and dollar cost averaged a little bit more, right around $1.21 or $1.22. And I actually was capable of picking it up before this push back up towards $1.50 right now. Now, yeah, I know it's rallied a little bit, but I still don't think it's too late to buy Ondo just because it does have a lot of solid substance in the background. For example, what it is doing, quite simply. I'm under the belief that as Donald Trump and his administration do enter into the office, we are going to start to see that legitimize crypto to some degree. Obviously, the Trump coin does take away from this a little bit, but you can't say that it will fully take away from the infrastructure that's being built within crypto every single day. And I believe having more of a pro-crypto administration in office, you are going to start to see the real world accepting crypto. And as a result of that, obviously, if the real world is accepting crypto and becoming more kind of merged in with crypto, obviously RWA is going to be what helps bridge that gap. Now, what Ondo does is that their mission is to usher in a new era of financial inclusivity and market efficiency through on-chain institutional grade financial products and services. Now, what they do go ahead and call themselves is the market leader in the tokenization of real world assets, in which you can see here. So for example, if we go here, you can kind of see the way in which they're taking this approach. They are doing it very well through things like Flux Protocol, which you can lend and borrow on chain, and much more. Now, they are actually backed by BlackRock, and this is another small thing that I do think is going to have a major impact on Ondo's price going forward, because BlackRock seems to me as if they're kind of scheming up like kind of a strategy right now, right? BlackRock obviously came in, they went with Bitcoin, they had the ETFs, all that good stuff. Now, about a year later, since that, or a little bit less than a year later, but basically about a year later, right? They've come in, they're starting to take those steps into more of a degenerate way, right? Obviously, you start with Bitcoin and you work your way down to altcoins, and you're starting to notice them starting engaging with some of these altcoins. They're starting to throw ideas out there of different altcoins that they could possibly having partnerships with or ETFs with. You're starting to notice all of these things. And the fact that Ondo, which is a top 33 crypto, number 33 spot, is backed by someone like BlackRock, it means to me that if BlackRock does continue to trickle their way down into the world of degeneracy, which is crypto, right? I think that it's going to end up benefiting Ondo. And I think Ondo is going to end up being one of those ones that BlackRock really does some stuff with. And obviously that could be beneficial. That is the type of thing that could take something like Ondo at a $4.5 billion market cap and push it to 10 billion or push it to 15 billion. That's only a 2 or 3x from here. And I think all of those things are reasonable. I mean, its price got all the way up to $2 before. It has had a very natural and healthy correction since then. And so to me, just kind of knowing that we're in the new year and BlackRock is going to kind of be scheming around and doing stuff, knowing that Trump and his administration are going to open the door for the real world to enter into crypto, which is going to need the RWA narrative, I think that Ondo is a solid pick. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think that they're going to be able to do well. I mean, they have all the products, they have all the services, they already have the lending and borrowing and markets and governance and all those things that you'd be looking for. And so if you're looking for a play that's not super risky but still could come with a lot of reward, I think Ondo makes a lot of sense. So it is one that I added to my bag a couple of days ago. I am up a decent penny, 15-20% or something like that on it right now, but I do have anticipations that Ondo will try to push $2.50 to $4 at some point. So I'm just kind of leaving my position alone for now. And so with that in mind, those are my 5 picks of the day. First and foremost, we had the good old meme index. The next one we had, the number 4 pick was the Infineon. Number 3 pick was Morph AI. Number 2 pick was TARS. And the number 1 pick of the day is Ondo finance. So let me know your thoughts down below. How did you feel about my list? As I mentioned before, I tried to make it a good diversification of risky, not risky, high reward, kind of high reward. So let me know your thoughts down below, and which ones would you change? Which ones do you think I could replace number 5 with, number 3 with, or number 1 with? Let me know down there below. I'll leave all the links down below for you to check out as well if that is something that interests you. And I can't wait to see you all in next week's Top Coins video. See ya, everybody.